Hi, I'm Jeffrey Weissman. Underneath this pandemic fur, you may have seen me at different events at the Niles S&A Studios Film Museum and Theater. I've been on the panel for the Harry Langdon project more recently, was Charlie Chaplin for the Niles Chaplin Days a few times, as well Sons of the Desert meetings. They've hosted films that I've starred in. I have a lot to thank the Niles Museum for, the S&A Museum for. And today, I'm honored to be a part of the celebration of the anniversary of the 1906 Great San Francisco earthquake. Now, what connection might I have? It's a bit of a story, so come with me if you would. Back in 1987, I fell into an opportunity to start playing Stan Laurel at Universal Tours down in Hollywood. And my Oliver Hardy partner talent, Beavis Faversham is his name, since an early age started collecting sound recordings. He also was a great fan of the early Hollywood comic icons. He trained me how to do a passable Stan Laurel. A year later, he helped me put together Charlie Chaplin a la the Mutual and Keystone years. A year after that, Groucho Marx. More recently, I play Larry Fine. I have a Three Stooges team, and I play Mark Twain, among other characters. Now, when Universal would send Beavis and I out as Laurel and Hardy across the nation or internationally, whenever we had time off, we would find ourselves record hunting. We would go to antique shops or flea markets and try to find early sound records. Beavis was mainly interested in the 5-inch Berliner records or early rare 10-inch records, and also cylinder records. And after a year or two of this and giving everything that I'd find to Beavis, I realized I like this too. So I started collecting for myself records, and then eventually saved enough money to get a home Edison phonograph, a wind-up picnic machine, etc., and really cherished my collecting. I think we were in New Orleans in a record store, antique dealer, when I came across Columbia record number, have my glasses on, let's see, 33007, a descriptive of the destruction of San Francisco. This is a 2-minute black wax record featuring a very popular recording artist named Len Spencer, who often played Uncle Josh. As you can see back here from my sheet music, Uncle Josh made hundreds of recordings as Uncle Josh. And this one, Len Spencer went into the studio with other actors and musicians and recreated 6 months later from after the April '06 earthquake in October, and recreated the destruction of the city from the earthquake and the fires and the militia coming out. It is, as far as I know, one of the earliest dramatizations of a historic event that exists. Several things to keep in mind. When the earthquake hit, the chief of police of San Francisco was injured fatally. And those who stepped up in his place did not know their stuff very well. Example, when the fires broke out and they decided they needed to make a fire line or fire break, they used a dynamite to destroy buildings to create that fire line. And the explosives they used sent sparks that set more fires, only adding to the catastrophe. Also, when the militia was called out and martial law was instated, the young soldiers took advantage of the scene often and looted themselves the liquor stores and got drunk. They had been given the permission to shoot looters and plunderers on sight. A lot of people would go back to their ruined homes and look for belongings that they could salvage, and these young drunk soldiers often thought they were plunderers or looters and would shoot them, adding more to the tragedy. The horrors didn't stop there. The firemen, when trying to put out fires, when they go to the cisterns under the streets, they found that from the corruption, I believe, stemming from the mayor's office, a lot of the cisterns were filled with the garbage and materials left over from building sites, from construction, instead of water. So it was just an equation for horrible tragedies. So without further ado, may I play for you now the Destruction of San Francisco, Columbia record number 33007.
Under martial control. Shield every man for plundering. Fetch the ruins. Let every able-bodied man aid in burying the dead.
So there you have it. The Destruction of San Francisco, recorded 114 years ago by Len Spencer and Prince's band on a Columbia record. Very interesting historic artifact. I appreciate the Niles SNA Studio Museum and Theater for having me out to, to share the recording. And hopefully I'll see you in the future there to celebrate once this pandemic is over. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay compassionate.